Welcome back. The month of November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and tonight we are hearing firsthand accounts about Alzheimer's from a former Hudson Valley man who has written a memoir detailing his fight with this debilitating illness. Where'd the name come from, Pluto? Why Pluto?
Well, Pluto, when I was, take you back to Arizona, an investigative reporter, I was writing about organized crime and the mafia. And I would tell my sources when we go off the record, I'm 28 years old, I don't know where it came up, but I just said, because it was the most distant planet, I said, we're going to go out to Pluto, where no one can hear what you said and everything stays there. We're going off the record. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
And so the sources would say, sure, because they trusted me over time. And then my buddies would hear about it. And, you know, I grew up in Rye and social gatherings and stuff like that. And when we talk about the unmentionables of life that you don't want anyone to hear about, which everyone does out there, my buddies would say, are you taking us out to Pluto? And I say, yep, we're going out to Pluto. And in Alzheimer's, it's a 24/7 fight. You know, I'm on target here. But when I'm done, I'm done. You know, this is like getting myself up for this interview. And then you drift. And when I drift, it's called the Alzheimer's gaze. It happens to everyone with Alzheimer's. I had to invent a place that I was comfortable going to. So I called it Pluto. And there's going to come a day, like my mother, where I'm not going to return from Pluto. But hence the name On Pluto, Inside the Mind of Alzheimer's.
You know, Greg, you and I, we share the same faith. We probably went to the same church. How do you not say stuff you can't say on TV and say why? You know, you had enough pain in your family. You lost a grandparent. You lost your mom to this. At some point, where does equity or a little bit of fairness come into the question? Yeah, you had to have asked that question.
Oh, I did. I mean, I had my Alzheimer's diagnosis, and 2 weeks after that I had a prostate cancer diagnosis within 2 weeks. And you can edit this out if you want. I had the WTF discussion with God. And I went to my parents' gravesite and I said, Mom, Dad, what are you doing to me? God, what's the deal here? And I remember in my office, the plug came out, as I mentioned before, and I didn't know where I was. I was writing. I didn't know what was going on, and I knew something was wrong, and I got angry. And I can't use any of the words, and I won't, but I started dropping F-bombs on God. You know, you don't care about me, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, I thought, you know, you had the whole world in your hands. Where are you? And I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, and I'm doing the best I can. And then I remembered I had an appointment, and I went out. I drive this yellow Jeep, which has significance in the book, which I write about. Yellow is the color of angels, by the way. And I went out to the car. My yellow Jeep, the back rear tire was flat as a pancake. So I'm in another Tourette's. It's blasphemous what I'm saying to you. I'm so angry at God right now. And drive down to the station, you know, thump, and get to the mobile station, Brewster Mobile. And one of the attendants who my son grew up with, Mr. O'Brien, and I'm yelling, and we'll take care of it. And I said, okay, thank you. And then they came back and said, you need to see the culprit. And I said, look, I don't care if it's a piece of glass or a nail. Just fix the freaking tire. And he goes, no, you need to see this. He handed me, which is emotional to talk about, but excuse me, a piece of scrap metal, small piece, that had been bent into a perfect cross.
Wow.
I saved it. I've shown it to atheists even, and they've said there's no doubt that that's a cross. And I started crying. And I've never looked back on my disease since then. I felt the Lord saying, Greg, do I have your attention now? Can we work together? And God is wonderful, so I have no regrets.
It's as honest a book on the subject, as honest a writing on the subject that I've come across here, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Greg, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we will take a look at headlines making news in the Hudson Valley.